Hello, I'm Anthony Starks, and what I want to do is talk to you today really briefly is about what is sucking your cash away. And if you don't understand this, you're going to live a life of just financial destitute. Um, Hello. Hello, my name is Anthony Starks, and what I want to do is talk to you today about getting free. I want you to learn what it takes to get out of the rat race and understand what is really sucking your money right out of your pockets, okay? So I'm going to be talking about the five wealth destroyers, and what those are is going to be interest, taxes, fees, penalties, and inflation, all right? Stay with me now. I know that you see a lot of figures on the board, but I want you to actually see what I'm talking about so that it will make more sense, okay? So if you just think about it like this, imagine if you have a cup, and I'll just draw like a little cup over here, right? And if you have water going into the cup, eventually that cup is going to start filling up, filling up, filling up, filling up, right? But if you poke a hole in this cup, the water that's flowing in is going to start flowing out, right? Flowing out, flowing out. Now, I know this is a cup and you're thinking this is liquid, but what this really represents is this is income going in, but we don't understand what is actually poking holes into our bank account, into our income that's sucking that money right out of our accounts. So again, I like to always use this example so you can see the leaks of what's going on here. Or again, if this is a boat, I know that's a funny looking boat, but if you poke one little hole in this boat, a small leak will sink a whole ship, okay? So we got to understand the importance of these five areas right here. Because if you think about the average person when they go to work, okay, and they live in paycheck to paycheck, and they think if I work more hours, they think if I save more money, they think if I do all these things, then I get financially free, or I get just out of debt, or whatever case is. But see, by design, it's not meant for you to get out that way, and I'm gonna explain why, okay? So when I just mentioned employees, I want you to understand what the cash flow quadrant is. If you ever seen like the Rich Dad Poor Dad book, stuff like that, this is what that reference is coming from. E stands for employee, S for small business, for self-employed, B for small business, and then I for investor, okay? So I'm gonna kind of be referencing these things a lot. So when I'm saying you're working paycheck to paycheck, you're getting maybe 40-hour work week or something like that, I'm talking about employees. And I'm gonna break this down here in just a second. So if you think about the average person, when you look at their livelihood, these are a list of expenses that typically come out. This is not even all of them, okay? But if you think about most people pay rent, I'll put like $1,000 up there, okay? I understand some people's rent may be a lot higher depending on where you live in the US. But just for an example purposes, $1,000 because it could be a lot higher. Light bill, phone bill, car note, gas in the car, water bill, insurance for your car, groceries. That's different than restaurant because most people like to eat out. You may have groceries in your refrigerator, but you're going to eat out some. You got entertainment, movies, just whatever case is. You're going to be doing some entertainment for the month. A lot of people for $1,000, that's very realistic. That's only $250 a week. When you think about that, we spend a lot more than that, whether that's going out for drinks or just clubbing or just doing whatever, movies, whatever. Like I said, you're going out having some fun. Some money for travel. You might say, well, I don't travel every month. Again, these are monthly expenses. But if you travel maybe one big trip a year, which may be, say, $6,000, by the time you break that down, that averages out to about $500 a month, right? If you have children, you might spend about $500 a month on children, pets, with getting different toys, food, toiletries, $200, clothing. And again, that's very low at $200. One pair of shoes could cost you $200. Your health insurance, life insurance, any type of subscriptions like Netflix, retirement income if you're putting away for retirement, or miscellaneous income. Well, these numbers here by themselves rack up to $65,000. $6,500 a month, I'm sorry. So in a month's time, these expenses are going to be totality for $6,500, and in a year's time, that's $78,000, right? Now watch this. Because this $78,000, to bring home $78,000 at a job, you typically are going to have to maybe make, let's just say $90,000, So then once you get taxed, you got 78,000 left. But you got to understand the average American doesn't make $90,000 a year. Does it make sense? The average American is going to make maybe about 40 grand. So if you divide 40 grand for the year, divided by 12, that's going to be $3,300. But if you're making $3,300 a month, you're way under this. So this is where that debt comes in, right? So again, this is a major issue with the wealth destroyers, because you got to think. Let's say on this $40,000 right here. This is your cup. So you got $40,000 going inside of this cup. Before you even get a chance to touch the $40,000 as an employee, what's going to happen? Taxes are going to get taken out. So instead of $40,000 going into your cup or into your bank account, you may have what? $34,000 go in, right? You might get $6,000 worth of taxes right off the top before you even get to touch your money. Now think, when you go to pay gas, put gas in your car, go get food, you go to the grocery store, you start doing some of these things, entertainment, traveling, you're paying taxes again. So again, taxes is eating you alive. Everywhere you turn around, you get taxed for something. Property taxes going up. Taxes are going up at the store. Taxes are going up for just whatever the case is. Your employer taxes, like you get a paycheck, you're going up. If you have a business, your employer taxes going up. Like taxes just always going up, right? You're getting taxed. Every which way you look, you're getting taxed, right? So as soon as you walk out the door, the moment you go, like I said, get gas, you pull over, get food at the restaurant, but you've already paid taxes on your check, on your income tax. Does that make sense? So again, you got a major leap coming out of that, coming from your taxes. The next I would say I want to hit is on interest. Because now when you swipe that credit card, you get hit with interest. By the time you look up, you're getting interest on the auto loan. You're getting interest on the mortgage. You're getting interest so many different places. So again, by the time you look up, the money that you have left, not only have you got taxed multiple times on the $34,000 you got left, but then you're also paying interest in multiple areas of your life. Does it make sense? By the time you borrow some money, the Bible says the borrower becomes a slave to the lender. So if you continue to borrow for these things over here, right? You're borrowing money that you don't have because you don't have much money. So you're having to swipe a credit card or get a home equity loan to try to pay for repairs around the house or whatever the case is. Every time you borrow that money, you're getting slammed in interest. So now you have another additional leak in your bank account. Does that make sense? So now you got to figure out what is going to be the solution, and we're going to talk about some of those things here in a second, of how do I protect what I have, because everybody's pulling at me from every different direction. Now let's look at penalties. So the moment you pay something late, you're behind on something, you're getting penalties, hit on top of taxes and interest. Does it make sense? So now you have another leak that's hitting you for penalties. May not necessarily always be late penalties. There's penalties in all other different aspects. And again, if you're looking at your monthly expenses, you'll see that penalties, you typically get hit for those, right? Fees. This is a big one. By the time you order that $8 burger off of DoorDash, and by the time you get hit with all those fees, now that $8 burger that costs you $50. Does it make sense? So every time you turn around, you get hit with some kind of other fee. Transaction fee by the time you book something online. You buy movie tickets, you got to pay a convenience fee. You buy this, you got to pay that kind of fee. You got to pay some kind of fee for every transaction you're doing online. A credit card processing fee. By the time you look up, not only have you swiped the credit card to borrow the money, so you're going to borrow money, you're going to get hit with interest, you pay taxes on whatever you just purchased when you swipe the credit card, and they're going to charge you fees. And if you're late paying the payment back, they're going to hit you with penalties. Does it make sense? So in that one transaction, you've been hit in 4 different categories. Does it make sense? So you got to be aware and know what's going on when you're handling your money. So you got to know where your money is going. You got to make sure you have a plan for your money before it gets away from you. Because if you don't have a plan for it, I guarantee somebody else have a plan to take your money from you. All right? So now let's go down here to inflation. This is self-explanatory. Well, I can't say that. Let me stop assuming. I apologize. So inflation. Every year, inflation, it's estimated it goes up by 3%, okay? So let's just say right now, you have a $100 bill in your wallet or under your mattress or whatever the case is, right? That $100, if you keep it into your account to next year in your savings account or whatever, it's not going to be worth $100 anymore. 3% is a deduction of $3, so that $100 is actually going to be worth $97. And you say, wait a minute, man. So not only did I get hit with taxes when I made the money, now that I was disciplined to save the money because I didn't go out and blow it on miscellaneous stuff, so now my money is actually worth less money next year? Yes, inflation. Do you ever notice that when you go to the store and you buy bread or you buy groceries or whatever case is, a can of soda or used to be 25 cents is now $1, or those bag of chips that used to be 25 cents, you used to get 4 for $1 back in like the 90s. Now those same bag of chips are either 50, 75 cents or $1. Or like the little Debbie snacks. You know, you should get 4 of those for $1, 25 cents for zebra cakes and all that. Now those things are $1 each. So you see what I'm saying? So the cost of living has went up through inflation. But the problem is most people, like if you look at most jobs that pay, just say $12 an hour. They paid $12 an hour 10, 15 years ago. That same job is maybe paying $12 to $13 an hour now. So the wages haven't increased as an employee. Your wages haven't increased, but the cost of living has went up. Again, the inflation equals cost of living. So obviously, depending on where you live in the world, that can fluctuate, change, or whatever case is. Like a house you maybe can get in Texas, a 2,000 square foot house, you may get $250,000. But take that same house out to California, you may be worth $1 million or something, right? So again, the cost of living is a little bit different there. But the point is, if you're an employee and you're working at a job, so let me kind of explain this a little bit. When I'm talking about the cash flow quadrant, I want you to understand this is going to determine 3 things. Number 1, how you make your money. That's the first thing it's going to determine, how you make your money. So as an employee, you're trading time for dollars. Does it make sense? You punch in 8 o'clock in the morning, you punch out 5 o'clock or something. Or you do like the 9 to 5 or whatever the case is. You make $20 an hour, you work 10 hours a day, you're going to make $200. Does that make sense? So you're clocking in and you're trading your time to then get dollars. Whether you worked and got work done or not, you're still going to get paid because you traded your time for dollars. So if you went to work and you sat on your phone, played on social media all day, and just kicked your feet up and just playing around, when you leave, you're still going to get paid, okay? That's how employees get compensated. Now, as a self-employed or as an S, you have to get paid based on your results. What I mean by that? Let's just say you're a lawn service, or a lawn service comes out to your house. Say right now you're an employee and the lawn service comes to your house to cut your yard. That lawn service, I don't care if he drove across town, he filled up his equipment, he hooked the trailers up, he purchased a new trailer to get over there, just bought a brand new weed eater, so he got expenses coming out of his pocket. He drove all the way to your house, get there, and the units don't start up. Does it make sense? So now he's done all that, took the stuff off the truck, but he didn't complete the job. If he does not complete the job, he didn't get the results, so you're not going to pay him. You go to a barber who cuts hair. You go sit down in the chair. They're cutting your hair. The power goes out. They say, well, hey, you still owe me $50 for your haircut. You like, I'm not going to pay you. Why? Because you didn't finish. You didn't get it done. You didn't get the result. So again, that's totally different than an employee, because an employee can not do the work. Like say the employee of that lawn service, that business owner still has to pay the employee because he's paying them for their time, not their results. But the big issue, if you're trading your time for dollars, is, once again, if you're working at wages for a company that isn't keeping up either with inflation or not accommodating these different things, now you have an issue because, again, most people work, make 40 grand in this area, but their expenses are higher than what they're making. So obviously there's debt. So you got to have a plan, okay? So as a business owner, you get your work done. The way you get compensated is through systems, processes, and people. So you employ other people, you put systems together to duplicate results, software like Amazon. You see how they can, people can purchase through there, or Uber. People can purchase, download the app, purchase. Uber gets a fee, and then the Uber drivers drive their own car and all that kind of stuff. See, that's a business. An investor, their money makes money. So they go invest into a stock or something. They go invest into real estate, flip the house or whatever. The money makes money, right? But see, the thing is, with the employee, you have a ceiling. You can only make as much money as the employer allows you to make, and then you can't make any more money outside of the time you put in, because it's only 24 hours in a day. Even if you work for full 24 hours like a robot, and you're making, just say $10 an hour, you can only make $240, the most you can make that day. Obviously with, overtime and all that kind of stuff, but the point is, you can't make more than what you can make. Does it make sense? But if that business owner say, well, no, we're not paying overtime, then all you can make is what you can make. So if you work 8 hours for $10 an hour, all you can make is $80. So there's a cap on your income. But that lawn service or that barber, whatever case is, they can fluctuate their costs. Instead of cutting hair for $25 now, I'm gonna cut her for $50, or whatever case is. They can kind of control that, and they can get more done. They can actually hire people and stuff here as well to get work done through people. But in the business owners, you can get as big as you want, and then obviously you can invest into stocks and different stuff, real estate or just whatever case is, or invest into your business, and you don't have any income caps. All right. Now, what's very important, I just talked to you about how you make your money on this cash flow quadrant. The next thing is how you're going to be taxed. Again, one of your wellness charges. This is like super important. So as an employee, let's just say right now, for an example, you make, let me do it over here. Hopefully you can see this pretty good. But let's just say as an employee, you make the $100 and then you get paid taxes. So after you pay your taxes, what's going to happen is, just say you got $90 left, okay? So that means on that $100, you paid what? $10 in taxes, right? Does that example make sense? You got $100 paid to you. You paid $10 in taxes, and you were left with $90, so you paid $10 in taxes. Now, the difference, that's how it works right here as an employee. Now, the difference between on these quadrants is the percentage you can tax. Just say like right here, you may be getting, in this example, this is not guaranteed. This is not like, again, depending on where you live, all this kind of stuff, there's different factors. But I'm just showing you for an example. Just say as an employee, you may get taxed 33%. As a, so actually that would even be more than that. So you would actually be paying, the tax is 33, so you'd be paying closer to about $33 in taxes. And then you will be keeping, what is that? $67 is what you would keep in that instance as an employee. But then as self-employed, again, you do your own thing, you get write-offs, you get all that kind of stuff. Just say this example, you might be taxed at 24%, right? So that same $100 for a self-employed person, you're going to pay less in taxes. So 24, that's $24, right, in taxes. So you kept a lot more, so you actually kept $76. Now you say, well, wait a minute. Both people work, but how come the self-employed person kept $76 and then the employee kept $67? Like, wait a minute, we both work. But again, it's not about who worked. It's not about playing a victim. It's not about, oh, well, it ain't fair. It ain't. Listen, you have to understand the game you're playing. It's the money game. Does it make sense? We don't make the rules. We have to play by the rules that are being set for us. If that's the case, now it's like, don't be mad at the game. Play the game. Does it make sense? Don't get mad at the game. Don't get mad at the self-employed person because it's like, well, we both made $100, but you kept more money than me. Again, that's playing the victim. That's not in your control. So what's in your control is you can decide where you're going to play. If you say, I only want to be an employee because I'm afraid to take risks, I'm afraid to take a chance on myself, well, then you choose to be right here. So when you get taxed the most out of everybody in the world and you're in the next tax bracket, that's on you. You chose to be there. Nobody forced you to be an employee. Does it make sense? So either you're going to chase safety, insecurity with a guaranteed check, or you're going to chase freedom in choice. Does it make sense? Because when you're free, there's a chance as a self-employed that, hey, you might not cut no yards today. You might make zero, but you didn't work all day. Does it make sense? But you got a choice to make. If you want to be safe and secure with a guaranteed check, well, there's benefits and consequences to everything in life. That's just how it works. If it's up, there's down. There's left, there's right. All right? So now let's just say a business owner. In this example, just say a business owner may get taxed at 18%. And then as an investor, when you're like capital gains, all this kind of stuff, let's just say you get taxed at 9%. As an example, again, these facts are not guaranteed 100% across the board. It's just an example to show you that even on that same $100 right here as an investor, if you made $100, you're going to get taxed basically at $10, but you're going to keep $90. It's the same $100, right? It's the same $100, but the investor is going to keep more of that $100. So that's why you're going to have to learn how to start investing your money. You can't just make all of your income one way. Does it make sense? You have to have different ways to generate your income. All right? So when you're looking at this, you decide, okay, how I'm going to make my money, how I'm going to be taxed, and then also, how do you think? Again, employees think safety, security. Self-employed or business owners, they take risks because, hey, I want to get free. I want to break out of these things that are dominating most people in the world and keeping them broke. Does it make sense? So you have to really just think about, hey, what do I want in life? Who do I want to be? What kind of life do I want to live? Do I want to take on some risks financially? Do I want to go through the pressure, stress, all that, so I can break free? I want to move from here to here. Again, because nobody has to, I don't have to ask for an off day here. I don't have to ask for a raise here. I don't have to do any of that. I can then, once I transition here, I can make what I want to make because I'm being paid on what I'm worth. See, a lot of people as an employee, they'll feel like, oh, well, the job is underpaying me. They paying me $10. I'm worth more than that. But see, what you have to realize is your worth is based on the value that you bring. So if you bring more value to that business, maybe you are bilingual. Maybe you know how to do IT work. Maybe you know how to do sales. Maybe you know how to do customer service. You see how all these different skill sets you're adding up, so you bring more value, they'll pay you more. But then the more you make, the more you're going to also be taxed. So if you really want to know what your real worth is, start something on your own so that you can see what results you get. Because again, I don't care if you're a world-class burger chef or whatever case, you got the world-class burger. But if you can't deliver that burger and sell it, a McDonald's burger, another burger franchise that may not have as good tasting burger as you, they'll outsell you all day because they have a marketing plan, an advertising plan. They have all these different things that they're showing, improving their work through a proven system to get results. Whereas you'll say, well, I don't have all that. Well, okay, that's why you have to learn it. Does it make sense? This is what we're talking about this. You may not say, well, I don't want to have to deal with all that. But if you don't want to deal with all this, then you have to deal with the consequences of not focusing on it. Does that make sense? All right, so long story short, I just want to just kind of break this down. How you make your money, how you're going to get taxed, and how do you think? Does it make sense? Because see, these guys here, they think with their mind is how they work. They think of something, they put a plan together, they put systems, processes, people in place to carry out what they thought about. These people here typically work with their hands, their body. Over here, you work with your mind. So the more you work with your mind, the more you can make. So I want you to understand that concept. So now you say, well, hey, well, what are some of the things that I can do to invest in myself? I want to get free out of whether it's the rat race of paying bills, wake up in the morning, go to work, drive through traffic, go to lunch, come out of lunch, go back to work, drive through traffic, go home, do some chores. If you want to break out of that, you're going to have to slowly start transitioning from here, slowly coming this way. And the further you come out, the more free you get. Does it make sense? All right. So once you start doing that, obviously you're getting taxed less as you come this way. You're overcoming taxes. Not saying you're not going to pay any taxes, but don't, out of that $100 you made, wouldn't you rather work with your mind to make that $100 and keep $90 rather than work with your body, physical labor or something, or whatever the case is, which is, oh man, what kind of, I'm trying to think of the name of the income. It's called earned income. So you earned it, so you get taxed more versus it being a gain or something like that. So long story short, you'll have to decide if you want to move this way so you can overcome this. Interest, instead of like getting money from people, like loans, you want to start being the lender. You want to give out loans so you gain interest. So now this is a positive cash flow, and I got this over here. It's a positive cash flow back into your account. So now you're starting to seal up these leaks. And maybe instead of it being 3 big leaks, maybe it's just 1 leak. And you're slowly getting that down. All right? Now you're not having to pay as many fees because you are being smarter with your investment, you're being smarter with your money, so you're paying less in fees, less in taxes, less in penalties because you're not late or whatever case is. And then your money, because you can make more, you can overcome and wipe out inflation. It don't matter. So just think about when the gas go up and down and stuff like that. Me personally, I used to be, oh man, the gas over here is $3.08. Well, I'm gonna drive 3 miles down the road so I can get gas for $2.99, so I can save 8 or 9 cents. But once you start making more money, you start understanding how this game works. I don't even know what gas costs anymore. I don't look at gas. I pull up, get gas, as long as it's a safe environment. I pull up, get gas, and I go. Does it make sense? Because the time I'm going to spend thinking about and driving around, wasting my time for gas, I could have got results in my business or through sales or whatever case is to make up the difference. Does it make sense? I'm not trying to save money. I'm trying to buy my time back. The more time, like the only thing you can't get back in life is time. You can get back money and all this other stuff. But you have to understand how to maximize your time. Once you maximize your time, this wealth destroyer stuff, it becomes so small to where it doesn't disrupt your livelihood and keep you bankrupt or paycheck to paycheck. Okay? So I want you to be encouraged because there are some programs available, again, that you can move here for a little bit of nothing. Because you say, well, if I try to go get a lawn service and I'm already living paycheck to paycheck, I'm making $40 grand, but my expenses are here, I don't have the money to invest. Okay? So now you have to think. If you're going to do lawn service or barber, or like for us, one of our companies is an insurance agency where we teach insurance agents how to come into the industry. No background, no experience. We give you all of our experiences through our systems, processes, and mimicking the people who've been successful, myself included, over the last 12 years. We show you a blueprint to success. So not only if you're making income here, you can actually make money here and write those deductions off. Because see, the thing is here, when you're self-employed, if you're making that $100, once again, as an employee, you make your money and you get taxed first. Does it make sense? But see, as a self-employed on out, we get write-offs. So by the time we pay for gas, we pay for some of this other stuff, once we get our write-offs, then we taxed on what's left. So out of the $100, let's just say we had $70 of write-offs, right? Which is stuff you're going to pay for anyway. You're going to pay for gas in your car. You're going to pay for a car. But if you put this into your business name as an LLC, now it's a tax deduction. You see what I'm saying? You're getting money back or money off. So when you get this write-off, Now I'm only being taxed on $30 because that's what's left, not the full 100. So okay, tax me 24% of $30. That's a little bit of nothing. So even if you do 10%, that's three. Another 10%, 20% is six. So even if you tax me $9, okay, I'll take that all day. Versus taxing me $33 as if I'm on this plan right here because I don't get the deductions. So again, I'm hoping this all makes sense to you. If you have any questions and you would like to learn how to come on this side over here, you can go to our website, financialfreedominsurance.com, learn more about this or see what's inside of the bio. You'll see a link if you want more information on this. Also, we have our courses that we teach business owners and entrepreneurs how to effectively grow their business. So if you are a business owner, on our Stark Solutions coaching and consulting side, we can teach you about this, how to effectively grow your business. And if you work with your spouse, that can be a whole nother layer of complications. So we want to show you how to work with your spouse, have a happy marriage, happy business, grow, scale, all that kind of stuff. And I hope all this made sense. I'm going to kind of step out of the way for you so you can take your notes. But man, the game changed for me, my household, my legacy, once I started understanding these things and these principles. And there's so much more that's involved outside of this, but I can't discuss it all in this video. This video would just be too long. So again, if you got value out of this video, I recommend to you to share it to somebody else who's a loved one who are getting knocked upside the head by these things and just don't have a clue what's going on. And then again, you be great. I'm confident after you learn about these, you can start doing more research or follow me for more tactics on how to overcome this, because I really do want to see you live financially free, and I want you to see how to live life on your own terms. So thanks for watching the video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share it, and all that, and I'll see you in the next video. All right.